Hello yogis, thank you so much for showing up and sharing your practice and sharing your shine. The hard part is over. You have the video going. You have, I hope, a yoga mat out or just a sweet bit of space that you can claim for your yoga practice today. And that is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about spaciousness, or that's the topic that I invite you to explore with me in your yoga practice today. And this theme of spaciousness and creating spaciousness within ourselves came from a line that was included in Miriam Hasna's online meditation. Miriam Hasna. I want to do this brilliant writer some justice. She has an Instagram. She has a very vibrant online presence, and her name is Miriam Hasna. Hasnaa. I hope I'm doing her justice with her name. And the reason why I bring her up is because I was listening to her meditation this week, and there was a particular line that deeply resonated with me. It just clicked. And we were focusing on our breath and just noticing how it felt to mindfully breathe, to consciously connect with our breath. And she said that we are breathing and noticing in order to create the space to be available for ourselves, to create the space to be available for ourselves, available for ourselves. That to me was so nurturing and inviting, and it made me feel more compassion and tenderness and kindness for myself. And so, which doesn't always happen when I'm still and turning inward and being reflective or connecting with my breath, because I have narratives and critiques and expectations. And there's a lot going on in our world these days. There's a lot of intense emotions that I'm feeling, and then the people around me are feeling. And so the phrase to create space to be available for myself just allowed me to claim my meditation practice, to claim, really just claim my physical and energetic space, so I could be clear and I could be in tune with what I need. Because when I'm clear about what I need, then I'm available to myself, and I'm taking care of my needs. I'm self-honoring, self-parenting, and then I can be present and available to the world, to the people in my life. And so this is a theme that I invite you to play with today in your practice. And the same, we're also going to be playing or kind of going back into that theme of staying rooted, staying connected to the present moment by bringing our awareness into our feet, by bringing our awareness into our body, into our breath, and letting the breath be an anchor, so we can create that space, so we can create that internal spaciousness that allows us to experience the whole package of being human, and from a place of gentle witnessing, from a place of enlivened, compassionate curiosity. And so throughout the practice, something that I'm going to cue is taking 3 conscious breaths. Now, what I mean by that is just inviting your awareness to take 3 complete cycles of breath. And we have at least 50,000 to 70,000 thoughts a day. Okay, right now we might even be having more thoughts because there's just so much going on. So really, it's just, when I say 3 breaths, I think 3 is like a magic number. And so it's just a way, it's just a cue to keep you a little bit more connected to your breath and to the present moment. If you find that you're taken like 20 breaths in a pose, or really you just took one quality breath, kudos, okay? It's all about quality, not quantity. So that's just what I'll say about that. And then also to say that you are your own best yoga instructor. And guess what? You have your own home studio. I mean, really, wherever you are, you're claiming some space, at least to stand or sit and stretch in, right? I have practiced yoga in a bathroom, so you do you, and you find a space that lets you just have a moment completely to yourself, where you can be available to yourself. And I say that because really this video, you take it for tips, suggestions, but you're your own expert, right? Because you're gonna trust how your body is feeling, and you're gonna honor what your body feels like doing. You're gonna befriend yourself in that process, and that's how you stretch and strengthen. When you meet yourself where you are and work with yourself where you are. So, so excited to practice you. Thank you for being here, and I will see you on the mat. Hello yogis, welcome. I'm so glad to be sharing in your practice. Thank you for showing up and sharing your shine. And I'm going to invite you to start your at-home yoga practice in a comfortable, dignified seat. So take a few moments to find a place where your hips can ground down, where your legs can arrange themselves in a way that feels rooted and stable. You can have the legs further out or further in. Take your time. This is your time, this is your space. So root yourself, nurture yourself in a pace that steadies your connection to your breath and steadies your connection to yourself and what you need from this time here on your mat. And as you find a seat that grounds you, so in grounding, what I mean is that you are feeling the heaviness of your feet, of your knees, of your hips. You're releasing into the unconditional support of the ground. And as you do so, there's this beautiful lift that's gonna happen through your spine. It's this rebound effect where you root and you rise. And in our last video, I talked about rooting, so embodying our consciousness, meaning leaving the busyness of the mind that can project us into the future or backtrack into the past, and really bringing our attention and our focus right here in the now. So if you wish, you can even bring your hands again to the soles of your feet. We did this to start our last practice together, if you caught that video. And so just bringing your hands into the soles of the feet, you can squeeze your toes, awakening the soles of the feet, igniting your mind to be right here in present time. And when that feels good and satisfying and connective, let your knees get heavy. Invite your fingertips out to the side and press into your fingers as you tint them out, and release down into the ground. And that same feeling, that same idea of the earth lifting back up and supporting you. So you're rising through the spine, and there's a sense of majesty. Your heart is opening, and you can soften your gaze as you relax the hips. Feel your breath meeting you. You don't have to strive for it. It's right there in softness and in ease. And the next time that your in-breath arises, it's as if your breath is just lifting your arms up. And so you're tracing the space that surrounds you. You're claiming this space for your yoga practice. Let your palms meet. Press into your palms. Relax your shoulders. Lift your gaze. Soften the gaze. Soften your cheeks. And then as an act of befriending the you are here, let the thumbs trace the face, the forehead, the nose, the lips, the chin. And pause in front of your heart center as we begin, spreading out the fingers, pressing the palms together. Let your thumbs rest into the rhythm of your heartbeat. And the gaze here can be soft and gentle. And if it feels comfortable, or when it feels comfortable, the eyes are welcome to gently close. Either way, turning a bright gaze inward as you welcome yourself into the very beginning of your yoga practice. And starting by meeting whatever arises with softness, with the power of tenderness, the power, the strength of gentleness. So we are creating a safe internal world. So when we look inward, our emotions and our thoughts and our sensations can be greeted with kindness, curiosity, compassion. So as you bring your awareness more in towards this internal universe of your life force, just notice what arises, dissolving any expectation or critique, or any critique on the critique, right? We're befriending ourselves, we're getting curious. And then feel into your hands and let your hands just instinctually and intuitively rest in any way that they wish. So you're recommitting this conscious effort to be in your body, to be embodied. Feeling where your hands are making contact. Feeling the body sinking down and rising through the spine. And realigning with this internal ability to witness. So again, this act of befriending can be facilitated by shifting your awareness into observing, and observing with exuberant aliveness. So it's as if you're taking, like we take a seat on our mat, we also take a seat in our awareness. And so the emotions, the thoughts, the sensations, you're allowing passage. You're creating space by shifting the focus into becoming the attentive, enlivened observer. And let that realignment be rejuvenated and sustained by a connection to your breath. Because it's been right there the whole time. So let's drink it all the way in, nice and slow. And the out-breath will just cascade out when it's ready to go. There's no striving, no pushing. Just let the body breathe. Let the body breathe you. And the next time that you breathe out, breathe all the way out and feel down into the feet. Keep releasing the legs and the hips, even the belly. Feel down into your palms, into your fingers. And then receive your in-breath, as if your in-breath is like water. And it's just gonna river through any part of yourself that needs kind of like a soft washing, a bathing of affectionate attentiveness. befriend the breath. Invite a befriending or a softening towards yourself through this creation of space, which means that you are creating some space between you and your thoughts, some space for your emotions and sensations to bloom and fade without diving into an immersive narrative about the experience and without suppressing the experience away either. You are aligned, enlivened in your internal seat, in your physical seat, receiving and relaxing with your breath. And the next time that you breathe out, let the out breath just cascade throughout the entirety of your being as you sink down a little bit more into the earth. Because even if you're sitting on a mat and in your home, the earth is rising to support you. And then with your in-breath, when that in-breath arises, let the hands gather themselves at your heart center in either way or any way, any gesture, palms pressing towards each other or towards the heart. And we're going to continue to claim our space, right? So there's a lot going on in the outer world. Maybe there's a lot going on in your own home life right now. So it's really vital for us to maintain a clear connection to ourselves, a clear connection, a clear channel to our body and our body's needs and to our heart's needs. So we're going to claim this space. We're going to claim this yoga practice space with 3 conscious cycles of breath, guiding movement. So the next time that you breathe in, lift your fingertips, and the eyes can gently blink open if they're not open already. And just lift up and see what you see, softening into sight, shadows and colors. And then invite your fingertips to paint the air, stretching out and letting the hands get heavy, let gravity do the work for you as they sink down to the ground. And now maybe you're practicing in a space where you're like, I don't have that much space. Go on and claim this space for yourself mentally and emotionally, that you have internal space within to care for your needs. And we're also, if you do have the space to reach out, you're also doing that, but just to modify accordingly if you need to. So wherever you are, you're pressing your fingertips down. With your inhale, you're lifting up, claiming this space to nurture, to ground, to befriend as the hands travel back towards the heart. And I'm going to invite you to do that 2 more times at your own pace. You're just tracing this circle, this bubble, this container, this energetic container, this physical container for yourself. To be clear, to stay refreshed and in tune, to create a little bit more space for you to be available to yourself, as Miriam Hasna says. When that feels full and complete and satisfying, and maybe you did 3 laps, or maybe you did 1 or 5, just whatever feels good, whatever feels expansive is usually a sign of alignment for you at this time. So granting yourself grace for your practice to change, because we have different needs at different times, right? So having that curiosity available to you as you bring your hands to your heart. And as you inhale, let's lift up and bring your left hand down for a side stretch. So the rib cage is opening gently. You're pressing your left palm into the mat. The gaze can go gently down as the right fingertips energetically press into the air. And as you breathe out, let your right fingertips come down and bring your gaze down. A little twist. Inhale, let the arm buoyantly lift back up. And then bring your right elbow down and bring your gaze over your right fingertips. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fingertips down, gaze down. Inhale, buoyantly lift. Exhale, high five the air, gaze over the right fingertips. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Inhale, buoyantly lift. Exhale, high five the air. And then invite your right hand to get heavy. Tint out the fingertips. Take a slow breath in and a slow breath out. Walk out your front foot. Lead with your heart. And move into a forward fold, lengthening out of the lower back and bringing the hands out in front. And invite yourself to take 3 conscious breaths here. And let your breath be like water, so it can move through or around sensation. Just creating that space for you to be available to listening and feeling into your body. And softening into the hips with your out breath. With an inhalation, lengthen your spine, lift through the backs of the ribs, lift the fingertips, lift the gaze. Exhale, high five the air, bring your knees together. Lean back and switch the crossings of your legs. Take a moment to rearrange and find a place for your legs to rest. So you can bring the soles of the feet together, you can reach your legs that long, you can recross, and you're like, that just didn't feel comfortable to bring the opposite leg in front. So take a few moments, right, to be curious and find your dignified, humble seat once more and realign your spine. And invite 3 conscious breaths with your hands instinctually resting in any way. Your attentiveness just flow through with your breath. So just noticing what you notice. Your relationship to stillness, your relationship to turning inward. These are things that yoga helps us connect to, and right now our daily life is like an off-the-mat practice, right? Our relationship to stillness, our relationship to being with ourselves in a compassionate and kind way. So whatever rises up, meet it with your breath. And then when you're ready, when you feel prepared internally, lift your fingertips, lift your gaze. Bring your right hand down this time for a side stretch. Turn the gaze down as the ribcage opens and the lower belly pulls in and up. And then we're going to begin the flow. We're going to invite our left fingertips to come down, turn the gaze down. Inhale to buoyantly open, and then take a bend to the left elbow. Bring your gaze over your left fingertips. Inhale, open. Exhale, twist. Inhale, buoyantly lift. Exhale, high five the air. Turn your gaze over your left fingertips. Inhale, lift back up and over. Exhale, twist. Inhale, buoyantly lift. Exhale, high five the air. And then realign the spine, ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Tent out your fingertips. Walk out your front foot. Flex it if you're sitting in a cross-legged seat. Buoyantly lift with your in-breath. Exhale, come down. Bring the hands out in front. Receive your breath. Receive yourself. Receive the intelligence of the body communicated through sensation. So if there's tightness in your hamstrings and your hips, y'all, our tightness, it's keeping us safe. So those are just some patterns that you can meet with a slower breath and the power of gentleness. And just let your next out breath wash through the mind, through the spine, down to the hips, down to the feet. So you're anchored and connected and rooted, and that's going to help you rise. Inhale, lengthen the spine, lift through the backs of the ribs, lift your fingertips, lift your gaze. Exhale, high five the air. Let your fingertips come down. Gently lean back and bring the knees together and transition into a neutral tabletop position. And letting your transition be a yoga pose in of itself. So the hands are rooting down. You're spreading out your fingers nice and wide and pressing into the knuckles. You can press into your fingertips as the tops of the feet come down. As the knees find a sweet place to land. You can always bring a blanket or a towel underneath your knees for these positions. And when you feel ready, begin to flow with your breath, inhaling into a cow pose. The belly gently drops and the heart opens. The gaze can go to the brow. Exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin in, puff the back of the heart up. Keep pressing into the tops of the feet. Inhale, belly gently drops down. Heart widens, gaze to the brow. Exhale, round into your cat. And take 3 more cycles, steady and slow, or quick and fast if that feels really good. And the next time that you round your spine, begin to move your hips from side to side and maybe trace a big circle. So begin to move in a way that is organic and curious and spontaneous, emerging from the wisdom, the playfulness of the body. Moving in a way that just feels expansive and grounding and freeing. And you're like, I don't feel any of that. That's all right. You can continue to move through some cat and cows or just take a moment to pause. Just creating the space to do what you need to do to nurture your body, to nurture your heart. And then when you feel satisfied and complete in those movements, you're invited to move into a child's pose or to rest all the way down on your belly and make a pillow with your hands and relax down here. So in whatever position you're in, your heart is yielding down towards the ground. Your belly is sinking down. And then your back body is getting a chance to air out, if you will. And you can keep the gaze gently open in your child's pose or when you're lying down on your belly. Or you can invite your eyes to gently close, and either way, brightening that inner gaze, that creation, that connection of befriending yourself through having a gaze that is understanding and forgiving and encompasses and understands the complexity of being a human being. And inviting 3 more steady, full cycles of breath, and really inviting your breath, if it doesn't feel too forceful, to just move into the back body, to move into the back of your ribs. So you're fully receiving and fully relaxing. And then letting the next out breath just wash away any tension in the jaw, in the belly, in the hips. Softening, staying connected with yourself as we begin to move into a flow. So if you're in a child's pose, you'll round back up through a cat. If you're lying down on your belly, just gently press yourself back up, and we'll move as a community, as a group, back into a neutral tabletop position. And with your exhale, you'll round your spine, you'll tuck your toes, and you'll lift your hips up and back into a downward facing dog. Spread out your fingers and press the mat away. Let the back of the neck get long as the lower belly pulls in and up. Breathing into the backs of the legs. And then with your next in-breath, come nice and high on the toes and ripple the crown of the head forward. Your shoulders will go towards your fingertips. High-five the mat, press down to the knuckles, relax your face. And let your in-breath press the hips back. Your heart goes towards your thighs. The heels square down and sink down. So staying connected to your hands, to your breath, to the balls of the feet, or to your feet. So those rooted points, we're going to flow. Inhale, river forward. So your shoulders are over your fingertips. Your heart is wide. Exhale, press it back. Downward facing dog. Do this 3 more times, flowing with your breath, staying strong through your breath. Keeps the movement strong and controlled. And when you come again into your plank pose, pause. We're going to hold this for 3 breaths. Your knees are either lifted or your knees are down. Choose what keeps the integrity of your spine, the integrity of the pose. Lower belly will pull in and up. Keep high-fiving the mat and the eyes of the elbows. Spin forward. Relax the jaw. Receive your breath. Breathing in as if the earth is pressing you up, and then breathing out. Feel into those rooted contact points. Feet, hands, knees, breath. And then when you've completed your 3 cycles of breath, round through that cat, sink it back into a child's pose, and then lift up into a sunflower pose and release your fingers, your palms into the air. Take a slow breath in, and then as you breathe out, exhale, move back into a child's pose. The heart is guiding you down, fingertips are back. Inhale, lift up, rise. Exhale, soften back into the core of yourself, child's pose. Inhale, lift up, rise. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, lift up, pause. Bring your hands down, spread out the fingers, press down the knuckles, round the spine, tuck the toes, walk the feet back, downward facing dog. Invite a slow breath in and a slow breath out. Let the shoulders relax, the belly pulls in and up. Feel into the pose. And invite 3 conscious cycles of breath here. Honoring your body. You can always leave the pose with grace. Or stay longer if that is what is the remedy today. And then when you're ready to transition on, take a bend to the knees, lift your hip points, bring your gaze in between your hands, walk the feet forward and move into a standing forward fold. Massage your hands as you press the feet down because we've been on our palms a bit. Have a bigger bend to the knees as you allow the spine to cascade down. You can take hold of opposite elbows and sway. Take a few moments to explore the pose. So bigger bend in the knees, head can get heavy. You can just be in stillness, or you can sway. And the next time that you breathe out, bring your awareness all the way down into your feet. Your toes are pointing forward. You're rooted, you're connected, you're supported, and that's going to help you rise. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Rise all the way up. The fingertips can trace up. The fingertips can lift up as you lift your gaze, moving into your standing pose, your mountain pose. Invite your thumbs and your hands to connect as the thumbs trace the face, the forehead, the nose, the lips, the chin. Pause in front of your heart center. Sink down into your body. Sink down into your belly, into the back of your heart. Sink into the rhythm of your breath. And 3 conscious cycles of breath right here. Inviting that next exhalation to be like a washing wave. And the in-breath integrates your presence, your energy, your attentiveness, your embodiment right here, right now. And from here, we are going to flow. With your inhale, lift your fingertips, lift your gaze, trace the space, claim it as yours. With an exhale, take a bend to the knees and bring your hands in front of your heart. Press down into the feet, lengthen the spine as the belly pulls in and up, chair pose. Press into your feet, energize your inner thighs. Inhale, lift all the way back up. Into mountain, exhale, into chair. It's a flow. Use your inhale to energize your inner thighs and rise, claim the space. Sovereign, connected, exhale, chair. Stay connected to your breath. In chair, inhale, lift up, rise, exhale, chair pose. Flow with your breath. And the next time that you come into a chair pose, pause. 3 conscious breaths right here. You had a thought about it, let it go. Press into your palms, relax your shoulders. Receive your breath. Stay with your breath. Meet sensation with your breath. And when that next exhalation just washes through, press into your feet and rise. Palms meet, thumbs trace the face. Hands meet, they arrive in front of your heart space. And take a moment to integrate your presence in a mindful pause. So perhaps that flow initiated a lot of sensation, and instead of fast forwarding through it, see if you could just be in the echo of it, noticing and breathing, creating the space to be available to yourself in intensity, if there is intensity, or if there's boredom, or if there is ease. Receiving that without getting immersed in it. And the next time you breathe out, breathe all the way out. So I always like to envision my out breath just pouring me right down into my full physical self, right into the soles of my feet. So I feel fully embodied and grounded and heavy and stable with my out breath. And with the in breath, just lengthening and rising, aliveness, attentiveness through the soles of the feet, the backs of the legs, the spine. Relax the face, relax towards yourself, or just soften and let your hands come down. We're moving into a flow, and to begin, come to the top of your mat if you're not already there. Woo! I almost fell, but that's okay. Every yogi falls. It's just how you get back up and how you talk to yourself as you get back up. That's what's important. So take a moment to let your left toes point forward, to lift your right heel. Hands will come to your hips, center your gaze, and we're moving into warrior one. Step your right foot all the way back, 45 degrees is the foot. You're gonna press into the outer edge of the foot. You're gonna activate the back of the leg so you're anchored and you're connected and you're strong as you square your rib cage and walk out the left foot a step. Lower belly pulls in and up. Let your lower body be like tree roots, strong, core is engaged. Invite your upper body to lengthen and rise. And this opportunity to let your hands rest in a way that is instinctual and intuitive. So at the heart, on the hips, up to the sky, high-fiving, and inviting 3 conscious breaths here. 3 conscious breaths in stillness in warrior one. Breathing in and breathing out. And as you breathe in stillness, notice what arises. Notice your relationship to stillness in this pose, because it takes a lot of courage, I think, to be in stillness with ourselves, to show up and hold space for whatever's going on. So that courageous warrior heart is a really gentle and beautiful and loving heart. When you're ready to leave the pose, because I'm pretty sure we were there longer than 3 breaths, so, but when you're ready to leave the pose, you'll straighten the front leg, you'll pivot, all 10 toes forward, yes, well, like to the side, and we're moving into, you're gonna have your legs wide basically and your hips pointing forward. We're gonna pivot our toes to the outer edges of our mats. I appreciate you all. In class, like in a person class, I can see people and be like, right, left, forward, back. So as long as you're in this shape, as long as you're in a horse pose or a goddess pose, we're all in this together. I appreciate your patience. We're gonna press into our feet. We're gonna invite our knees towards our little toes, right? We're gonna take our time in setting up our foundation and being stable, right? Because when we're stable in our foundation, then we can lift through the spine, we can open the heart, lower belly's pulling in and up. Let your breath meet you. Meet the breath. Invite your hands to instinctually rest, maybe at the heart, or gently pressing the knees towards the little toes. Feel down into your feet, feel activated in your feet. So you're pressing through the 4 corners of each foot and energetically lifting up through the sole of the foot. Perhaps there's a lot of sensation going on here, so you can always kind of gently rise up. But just noticing what happens to your mind, what narratives come to play when there's intensity. Just see, let your breath facilitate a clearing so you can stay close to yourself as you experience the pose. Take a slow breath in and a slow breath out. And when you're ready, when your body is ready to leave your pose, not your ego, your body, you're gonna press into your feet, you're gonna gently rise, you're gonna pivot the toes forward, pressing the outer edges of the feet. We're moving into a water warrior flow. The hands come to the heart. Invite a bend to your right knee, work your right knee towards your little toe and actively press into your left foot. Inhale through center, exhale the opposite side. Left knee goes towards little toe. Keep actively pressing into your right foot. Flow. Options. You can stay upright like this, what I'm doing. You can bring your fingertips down and you can move from side to side. There's some other variations of this pose. If you want to explore that, you're welcome to do it. I'm going to just offer this for right now. If you're like, I don't know what she meant, let it go. Don't worry about it. Stay in your body. Stay with your breath. Maybe you invite some curiosity into your experience. Noticing sensation, feeling the fibers of the mat, even the brush of air on your skin, right? Being curious about this moment of your life as you flow through it, rooted to your breath, rooted to your presence. And then take a moment to pause. If a pause feels welcoming, and move into a forward fold, a wide-legged forward fold, so you can walk your feet a little further out, pressing the outer edges of the feet, and let the spine cascade down. Keep pressing in the outer edges of the feet, and pull your leg bones up, 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 and in. Take a slow breath all the way out. Just noticing your thoughts like clouds. We have 50,000 to 70,000 thoughts a day. So shifting into witnessing, shifting into when we're giving our power away and bringing ourselves back into the present moment ignites our presence, ignites our connection to ourselves. And when you're ready to leave this pose, press into your feet. Inhale, lengthen your spine halfway. We're gonna play a little watch asana. So you can press into your feet and lift up. Here's the invitation, because that's all it is. You never have to do what I say. It's just a recommendation. You're welcome to move your hands over towards the left leg, turn the left toes forward, and lift the right knee. Press your right palm down, square your hips towards one another, energize them towards the mat, press into your right palm and sweep the left arm up, high five. Then bring your fingertips down nice and slow. Move your hips back, turn your gaze forward, and step forward, standing forward, fold. If you saw that and you were like, nope, then inhale, totally fine. Inhale, lengthen the spine, hands are on the hips, hands are in front of the heart. Press into your left foot, step, or a couple of shuffles, and pivot the toes forward, bend the knees. We're all in that standing forward fold. And breathing. And with an inhale, lengthen your spine and rise all the way up. Fingertips lift your gaze, palms meet, thumbs trace the face, pause as you rise. in front of the heart space. And 3 conscious breaths to check in, to tune in, to notice the tone of your mind, any narratives that we have about the body, and just seeing if you could continue to just create space for you to be available to yourself in a way that is supportive, in a way that is kind. And then everything we just did or we didn't do is already in the past. Nobody is giving you a grade, so don't give yourself a grade. Dissolve any expectations, dissolve any thoughts about the body, and feel into your body as the toes point forward. And take 3 chair cycles. So we'll inhale to lift, and then exhale to move down. 2 more at your own pace. The next time that you arrive in your chair pose, pause. 3 breaths in stillness. I've got a roommate who might come in. And then when you're ready, lift all the way up. Bring your hands in front of your heart and just invite a moment of stillness. Or 3 cycles of breath if that feels accessible. To integrate, to notice, to receive, to release. And then when you're ready, let's meet at the top of the mat. And this time we'll invite our left leg to step back into a warrior 1. So the hands will meet on the hips. The toes are pointing forward as the left heel lifts. Center your gaze forward and step the left leg all the way back and walk out your right foot. Let your hips and your rib cage, more your rib cage, let your rib cage square forward. I mean, your hips are squaring forward, but this way when you focus on your rib cage squaring forward, you're not twerking your hips per se. Something to explore. Belly moves in and up. Keep pressing into the back leg. Stable foundation. Hands instinctually rest as you lengthen through the spine. And invite 3 cycles of breath here in stillness. Noticing what you notice. From a place of gentleness, curiosity, compassion. And when your 3 breaths, your 3 conscious breaths are complete here, if you want to be here longer, you're welcome to be here longer. We'll pivot the toes forward, more forward, to the side. There we go. And bring the toes to the corners of the mat. Take a bend to the knees and work the knees towards the little toes. 3 cycles of breath right here in your goddess and your horse pose. Knees keep moving out, feet keep pressing down, spine lengthens. And when your final breath moves through you, your final breath in this conscious 3 cycles of conscious breath, then feeling into the body, let the body decide what you do. Maybe you move from side to side in a water warrior flow. Maybe you move into a forward fold. Maybe you do both. So letting your body decide what you do. And being in the experience of those movements, facilitated by your breath. maybe inviting a pause to just integrate and to be in that creation of space, the space of when you decide what you need to do and you make the self-honoring decision, the action to do it. And when you're ready to rise, you'll rise, and here are your options. You can step forward and pivot your toes forward and move into a standing forward fold. If you wish, you can also move over towards the right leg, pivot the right toes forward, press the left palm down, reach the right arm up, high five, and then the hand comes down, and then this time step back into a plank pose, press it back, downward facing dog. Take 3 conscious cycles of breath here. So for those of us who chose to step forward, that's just where we're gonna meet. You're gonna take a bend to the knees, you're gonna step it back and press it back. And receive 3 cycles of breath as you press the mat away, as the spine gets long. And then on that 3rd cycle breath, or when you feel ready, move down into a child's pose, or rest on your belly, or stay in downward facing dog, flow, move through some cat and cows. So an opportunity to, again, claim this yoga practice, claim this space as an opportunity for you to be available to yourself, to be available to your body's current needs. Be that movement, stillness, rest, a mixture of all 3 things. And then when you're ready, and if you're like, I'm not ready, you can pause the video and just do your own thing. If you want to continue on, or when you want to continue on with this sequence, I'm going to invite you to move onto your back. And to, again, let this transition be be a yoga pose in of itself. So you'll press your feet down as you hop to the front of your mat, or to one part of your mat. You'll take a hold of the shins, a slight tuck of the chin, and you'll slowly lower all the way down, nice and controlled. And just take a moment to arrive. So move your hips, readjust the head or a ponytail if you have one. Let your back body anchor and sink into the fibers of the mat like sand. Receive your breath. And receive this grounding connection with the mat, with the floor, with the earth. As if anything that's been bottled up and released in the practice, because as I like to say, we have issues in our tissues. So anything that's been bottled up and been released, it's as if you could just, again, that creation of space, you've noticed it, and you can also just kind of give the intensity, give the charge down into the earth. Or just slow into your breath and see if that sweeping of breath creates a little bit more ease or a little bit more space for you to receive the insight, the intelligence that your body is communicating with you, that your higher heart is communicating with you. The next time that you breathe out, feel down into your feet. Lift your left foot and then plant it. Left toes are pointing forward, and then the right knee is hugging in. Let your collarbones be wide, slight tuck of the chin so the neck is long. Not holding tension there. And then bring your right ankle across the left thigh and invite your right knee to move forward as you flex your right foot. So we're creating this figure four-like shape. And you're welcome to stay right here, or if the body wishes, you can bring, and that's my dog. She might come in. And then when you see, this is the whole thing, right? Like, we're gonna have interruptions. You can come in, it's fine. You're gonna be part of my practice. So like, we're sharing our home spaces, right? So you can use what would be an interruption or a distraction as part of your practice, where we're staying connected to ourselves. So it all works out. So if you wish, you can bring the legs in towards the chest. Keep the left foot flexed and bring your right hand gently into the right inner thigh. Feel sensation. Notice your breath. If you're holding your breath or if it's shallow, then maybe go on and plant your left foot. And the invitation is to be here for 3 conscious cycles of breath, or even more. Receiving the pose, receiving yourself in the pose, and softening. And the next time that you breathe out, breathe all the way out. Relax the face. Kind of relax your toes as you still keep them active. Relax towards yourself. And then if you've lifted the legs, go on and plant the left foot down. Release the right knee in towards your chest. And this time invite both knees in towards your chest. Press your palms down and move the legs through the air, almost like seaweed. Organically, you can spin your ankles. Stretch your toes towards your face and then press out through the heel. And then invite your feet to sink down. Press your feet onto the outer edges of the mat and have the knees lean in towards one another as the palms open. 3 cycles of breath to notice the echo of the pose. To befriend the body by befriending the breath. Creating the space to be available to yourself. And when you feel ready and complete, lifting the right leg, lifting the right foot and planting it down, toe ball heel. Lifting the left knee in towards the chest. Creating that figure 4-like shape. Dial the left toes, press the left knee, the left thigh towards the front of the mat. This is enough, so let your body decide. If you wish, you can bring the legs in towards the chest. If you do, keep your right foot flexed. Keep inviting the left knee, the left thigh to move away from the rib cage. And that invitation to be here in stillness, strengthening in stillness, strengthening our connection towards ourself in stillness as we receive the breath. The next time that you breathe out, breathe all the way out. Feel the spine, the back of the head, the touch of air on your skin. Relax into witnessing. And if you've lifted the legs, go on and plant the right foot down and bring the left knee in towards your chest and invite the right knee to follow. With your out breath, lift your nose towards your knees and curl into a seed, a gesture of connection, of returning back to the core of yourself. And then let the back of the head rest down. Let the feet plant, maybe be mat distance and have the knees lean in. Let your hands rest on your belly, dissolving any tension in the belly as it becomes like water, and as the hips sink down, as the spine sinks down, as the breath flows. And as you rest in the rhythm of your breath, reuniting with the intelligence of your body, if there's a movement that you'd like to do to satisfy your practice, feel free to do that. We're moving, or I'm going to invite you to move into Shavasana, into a period of final rest. So you can rest on your back, or you can rest on your belly. You can rest on your side in a fetal-like position, or in a child's pose. And granting yourself full permission to take the space and take the time to rest. The ancient yogis believed that Shavasana was the most important part of the practice, and I agree, because it grants us the opportunity to digest and integrate the energy of our practice. It soothes the nervous system. It lets the mind rest. It lets our heart rest. It lets the body rest. And we can journey through this time of stillness with a conscious, enlivened connection to our breath. So whatever arises, meeting it with the fullness of your life force, your power source, your breath, creating the space to be available for yourself in a tender and caring manner. You are welcome to just pause this video and stay here for 10 to 15 minutes. I will hold some space and then just gently end the practice. But you can stay where you are and be as you are. And remember that you can always come home to yourself by coming home to your breath, particularly 3 conscious cycles of breath. Stay close to yourself, stay close to the breath. Affirm you can create the space to be available for yourself and for your needs by coming home